Was Gandhi bisexual? Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the Mahatma who spearheaded India's struggle for freedom from British colonial rule, is a near-mythic figure who has had hundreds of books written about him. In 2011, Pulitzer Prize-winning author Joseph Lelyveld added a 432-page biography to Gandhi's canon, telling the story of how a sheltered young lawyer became a politician/saint who changed the world. In the New York Times review of the book, Hari Kunzru said, "To American readers who may know only the basic outlines of his life, Great Soul will come as a revelation. The book scrupulously avoids sensationalism, which is for the best, given that even readers in India will find the portrait of a troubled, changeable, wily, and occasionally egotistical politician challenging." One of the most challenging elements of the book, as it turned out, was Lelyveld's description of the intimate relationship between Gandhi and a Jewish man named Hermann Kallenbach. Gandhi and Kallenbach met at a vegetarian restaurant in Johannesburg, South Africa, around 1904. Gandhi was about 35 and Kallenbach was 33. Hermann Kallenbach is often referred to as a German bodybuilder, but he was actually born in what is now Lithuania and educated in Stuttgart and Munich. He was a swimmer, a cyclist, a bodybuilder who trained with Eugen Sandow, who's the father of modern bodybuilding, and he was also an extremely talented architect. He moved to Johannesburg and became a South African citizen in 1895, joining his uncles who were already working there. Kallenbach is perhaps the single most important figure in Gandhi's life during his time in South Africa. The Gandhi Research Foundation refers to him as Gandhi's white brother, and many scholars refer to them as soulmates. They lived as ascetics, with emphasis on honoring useful work, and they both took vows of celibacy in 1906. In 1908, Gandhi actually left his wife, Ba, and moved in with Kallenbach for several years, into a house that Kallenbach designed and built for the two of them. Author Shimon Lev says that part of what bonded them so deeply is that they were both searching for their identities while living as unwelcome immigrants in South Africa. The theory that Gandhi and Kallenbach's relationship went beyond platonic friendship comes from the discovery of a cache of more than 1,200 pages of letters and documents and journal entries that were in the possession of Kallenbach's grandniece. The correspondence, mostly from Gandhi to Kallenbach, but also among Kallenbach and his brothers, reveals details of the relationship that had only been hinted at before. Unfortunately, we only have half the story. Gandhi destroyed all of what he called Kallenbach's logical and charming love notes to honor his wishes that they be seen by no other eyes, but Kallenbach kept all of Gandhi's. 5 decades worth of correspondence passed down through Kallenbach's family until they were shared with several scholars and eventually sold to the Indian government in 2012 to prevent them going up for auction. We learned a lot from those letters, including the fact that Gandhi and Kallenbach had several nicknames for each other, including Upper House, Gandhi, and Lower House, Kallenbach, which is almost certainly a very nerdy parliamentary pet name and not a reference to bedroom roles. Gandhi's letters to Kallenbach include lines like, "How completely you have taken possession of my body. This is slavery with a vengeance." And "Your portrait, the only one, stands on my mantelpiece in the bedroom. The mantelpiece is opposite the bed." But one of my favorite quotes is from a letter dated July 29, 1911. In it, the two make a legal agreement about how Kallenbach is to maintain his ascetic life while he's visiting family in Europe. He's not to spend money or travel first class, to get married, or to look lustfully upon women, but it's the last line that really gets me. The consideration for all the above task imposed by Lower House on himself is more love and yet more love between the two houses, such love as they hope the world has not seen. Gandhi scholars are deeply split on how to interpret this relationship. One of the scholars that Lelyveld interviewed for his book says they were unequivocally a couple. Shimon Lev makes the case in this paper that they had a romantic friendship but not a romantic relationship. Lelyveld himself has pushed back on the idea that his book implies that Gandhi was bisexual, saying that would be impossible since both Gandhi and Kallenbach took vows of celibacy. But if you've been around here for a while, you know that physical intimacy is not the defining characteristic of a committed romantic relationship. I think those who make the case that Gandhi and Kallenbach had a platonic homoromantic friendship and not a homosexual relationship are splitting hairs in order to make Gandhi appear heterosexual. In spite of Lelyveld's refusal to say outright that Gandhi was bisexual, the book drew criticism in India for casting aspersions on the Mahatma. A spokesman for the BJP said before the book had even been published in India, even a passing reference that Mahatma left his wife to live with a German Jewish bodybuilder attributes different assertions to that particular statement, which we consider to be derogatory in nature. The book was eventually banned by unanimous vote in the state of Gujarat, where Gandhi was born and raised. Modi, the current Prime Minister of India, was the Chief Minister of Gujarat at the time. Interestingly, Tushar Gandhi, the Mahatma's great-grandson, says that the family opposes any effort to restrict freedom of opinion about Gandhi and his relationships. He was quoted in a 2011 NPR article as saying that Gandhi stood for freedom, on the pretext of protecting his honor. If these kinds of draconian, anti-democratic measures are taken, they must be condemned and opposed. He went on to emphasize the fact that Gandhi's sexuality does not and should not impact his place in Indian history. That's it for today. As always, more information, including sources and further reading, is available in the usual place.